I've been asked to address whether enough is being done to ensure that individuals who sponsor foreign nationals in their immigration are in fact adhering to their responsibility of providing financial support so that in part the individual doesn't become reliant upon public assistance, but also that they're not simply duping the system and it's a paper sponsorship. Well, my experience over the years have been that it's very difficult to manage that process because the affidavit of supports are often supported by self-serving affidavits, bank statements, and the sponsor may have submitted numerous affidavits of support for other foreign nationals. And there was no way under the paper antiquated system that exists even today in great part to manage that. So the rules were changed, and there's attention to it. But I really don't believe that we can deter that type of abuse until we have a system that tracks all the affidavit supports that are being submitted, and so that the agency can determine how many are being submitted, and then some sort of mechanism, whether it's a conduit to IRS or Social Security, because what tends to happen is individuals, and I'm not saying the majority, in fact I have no way of even knowing how significant of a problem this is, but I do know from experience, anecdotally as well, that individuals that are supposed to have sponsors oftentimes end up receiving public assistance, and that even the government agencies were played against each other, where the permanent resident's supposed to be in the country living and residing and having equities in the United States, when in fact some of them immigrate on paper, but they never really establish a resident in the United States. But because they have to be here at least within a year or 2 years, unless they get special permission to be out of the country for more than a year, they make their annual trip, but their residence is in fact overseas, and some of them end up qualifying for SSI. So the problem is further compounded by receiving SSI, and you're not even supposed to get that as a permanent resident, but then you're receiving SSI and you're living abroad. So I've had all these experiences. So, and I don't know if, prosecuting someone for being a sponsor and not adhering to their responsibility, maybe it's not significant enough for that type of prosecution or attention. Maybe the better solution is to, again, I go back to the systems. I mean, if we had a mechanism, and I know CS is building a system that is person and organization centric, and it'll be years, but they started, and that's important, that we have a system that tracks all of this. Same with other cases, attorneys, for example, petitioners that may have been denied on fraud. You want to be able to track all these cases, and you want to be able to establish the business rules, if you will, that the system will flag those types of records. So if Don Crosetti submitted an affidavit of support for someone, the system may tell them that that's his 10th affidavit of support, and he only makes X amount of money. I mean, something's wrong here. Or this is his 5th marriage petition, or hey, this petitioner or this attorney was also associated with this major fraud conspiracy. They're the kind of systems. The technology's there. It's building the systems and the databases to connect to the information that we have. Challenge, but there. It's very doable. And that's how I would address the affidavit support issue. I think it's more of a management accountability issue and deal with it administratively.